Okay, so I think, am I live? I think I'm live. Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to this Friday's live lesson, AM Language live lessons. I hope everyone is doing well today. I'm just going to share this video and then we can begin. Okay, there we go. Lovely. I hope everyone is doing well and you've all had a good week. Right, there we go. All shared. Yeah, I hope everyone's had a good week. Let me know who is watching. It's a really nice day today. Lovely day. It's really hot. I went outside for a little bit today, actually, and it's lovely. Hello, Richard. Good afternoon, says Oksana. Hello, Oksana. Hi, Georgia. Thank you very much for joining. Jorge, thank you very much, Jorge. Thank you for joining. Let me know how your week has been. Let me know how your day's been. I mean, it's a really nice day today. Walking around, it certainly feels a bit like summer. Evelina says, hi, Richard. Hi, Evelina. Thank you very much for joining. I think, okay, you should all be able to hear me. So yes, in this lesson, we are going to concentrate on more prepositions. So Friday is becoming a bit of a preposition. Friday is becoming a bit of a preposition. I forgot how to say the word. Friday is becoming a bit of a preposition day. So we're going to look at more prepositions today. We'll probably look a little bit at dependent prepositions. Alejandra says, hi, Richard. Hi, Alejandra. Thank you very much for joining. Lovely to see you here. So, effectively, what are we looking at today? Well, it's not to say that we cannot look at other prepositions, maybe prepositions we looked at last week and the week before. But this week, I do want to look at this, okay? It's called dependent prepositions. Dependent prepositions, okay? Now, a dependent preposition is when we are learning new words. Some words have lots of prepositions that they can have, that you can link with, and there are some words where you can only use one or two prepositions. And it's important that we actually learn what the dependent preposition of a word is. I should say, by the way, guys, yes, I'm wearing a hat, and I'm wearing a hat indoors. I don't usually wear hats, but I have a very good reason to be wearing a hat, and I will not be taking my hat off for about 2 weeks. I tried to cut my own hair, and it did not go well. It could be worse. It could be worse, but it did not go very well. So I'm not taking my hat off for about 2 weeks. Hi, Erdogan. Thank you very much. And I do I can say this, guys, do not try to cut your own hair. It's far too difficult. I tried to get, I found this, what we call a gadget. So like a device, a haircut device, electric razor. And it just said, go round and round. And I thought I had it at the right setting. I did not have it I think I had it at the right setting. I just think the gadget that I bought wasn't very good, and it took off more hair than I wanted in some cases. And it's not even. There's some bits of my head that has more hair, and there's other bits that has less hair. So I'm waiting for about 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks' time, I can take my hat off, and it should be okay. But I look younger. Well, thank you very much. If I shave and I take my beard off, then I will look really young. But I'm going to keep my beard. I might just let my beard grow to solve the problem of what's happened to my head. So yes, guys, during lockdown, don't cut your own hair. It is not a good idea. Um, Definitely not. And it doesn't matter. Even if you see an advert that makes you think, yes, I just need that hair clipper, it'll be fine. Probably not. No. Irina says, hi, everyone. I managed to have a funny story. Let us know, Irina. Let us know what your funny story is. Oskana says, true. Yep, definitely. Absolutely. It is true. Don't cut your own hair. So yes, Irina, in the live comment section, please let us know what your funny story is. If you, by the way, guys, if you think it is not a good idea to try and cut your own hair, go ahead and like the video. Yes. By the way, you might have seen on Facebook and Instagram a short new video about our YouTube channel. Now, I can tell you that we have been making lots of short videos that we will soon be uploading. And we've been making videos for low levels like pre-intermediate, intermediate, and some higher videos as well for like upper intermediate. So we have been making some short videos, and very soon we will be uploading them onto our YouTube channel. So there's some really good videos coming our way. I hope everyone has been enjoying their Zoom lessons as well. I know this week there have been more teachers now been teaching you guys on Zoom, and I really hope you have enjoyed your lessons. So if you have liked your lessons this week, make sure you like the video for the teachers as well. So let's see, dependent prepositions. Now, I had before I told you about my mistake of trying to cut my own hair, I had said that there are some words when we learn have lots of prepositions, and there are other words where they don't have lots of prepositions. In some cases, maybe only one preposition. Irina says, I'm about the hairstyle. I need to cut my hair. I need to cut hair myself too. Irina, be really careful if you are going to cut your own hair. We would say if you don't want to do something that someone else did, you can say, don't pull a me, which means don't do what I did. Okay, so that's a good expression. Don't pull a me in this case. So, for example, if we take a word like run, for example, run has a lot of prepositions that we could use. We could say run out, for example, such as we could run out of butter, meaning no more butter. We can say run into, for instance, like run into someone. We could say run up, such as run up the hill. You can also run up a tab, actually. Run or ran in the past, ran up a tab, which means your bill grows. Your bill in a bar grows. So this is the sort of bar where you give the person your credit card, so they have your details, and they just charge your card, and you run up a bill. You run up a tab. Okay, so run is one of these words where yeah, you can also use, you've got quite a few more that you could use as well. So run has a lot of prepositions. and the prepositions change the meaning. And this is normal as well with certain phrasal verbs as well. So with a word like run, because it's got lots of prepositions, you can make a lot of different phrasal verbs as well. So that is fairly common. Now, to give you an example of words that don't have a lot of prepositions, this would be words like depends on. So it depends on the weather. Do you want to go outside? It depends on the weather. Okay. Now, depends on is always going to be the preposition of depend. If you say, for instance, scared, like I am scared of something. So I am scared of ghosts, for example. Scared of is always the preposition of scared. So that's not going to change. Let's do one more. Interested, such as I am interested I'm interested in history of art, for example. In is the preposition of interested, or of interest as well. So you can say, I take an interest in history. Okay, so that is now, we can see that that is the preposition. So what I would like you guys to do for me is, let's discover some words together. So if you think of words that you like to use, or new words that you have learned this week, feel free to have a look at your books and ask me in the live chat section what the prepositions are, for example. Now, I recall yesterday, I think it was Alejandra asked me about when do I use for, when do I use of, for example. Now, if we are looking at something like for and of, it depends on the context. So, Alejandra, can you give me an example of some of the things you were thinking of yesterday when thinking of for, of, and maybe from as well? I mean, the meaning will change, such as this is a present for John. This is a present from me to John. So here we can see that with present, I can use for and from, but the words that come after are going to have to change in order to fit the meaning. So this is a present for John means I have a present. I've got a present and I'm giving John a present. This is a present from me to John. Again, it's the same meaning. I have a present that I'm giving to John. Alejandro says, okay, I'm from Colombia. Why can't say of? Okay. Again, it depends of the context. So if you just want to say the country that you are from, the preposition has to be from. So I come from Colombia. I am from Colombia. Now, this is because when you're talking about the origin of someone, such as using the word come, from is the preposition of come. I come from. Actually, that's a common link, actually, come from or came from. So if you are using the word come, or you are creating a sentence such as I am from Colombia, we need to use from, because that is the preposition, especially when we're talking about where we come from. Now, you asked about of. I am from. I am of. I am of South. American. Okay, this is an example, Alejandra, of when you can use of, and it's more to do with your family history, such as I am of South American heritage, or I am I am of yes, I'm from yeah, I'm of South American heritage. I'm of or I'm of South American origin as well. You could use that. I am of, um, let's say, Colombian origin, but this doesn't necessarily tell me you come from Colombia yourself. This is where you're talking about your family history. So, for instance, um, I'm of you. Let's see, I'm of Italian heritage. Okay, because I have a lot of Italian ancestors going back. I also know I have a little bit of Greek. My dad has quite an interesting mix, maybe a bit of Scottish, I think. So there's when you're talking about your family origins, that's when you do have an opportunity to use of. But when you're just talking about yourself, your immediate family, so your mother, your father, and your brothers and sisters, this is when you would say from. I am from. Okay, guys. So yes, in the comment, let me know if you have any questions, any types of other examples, a little bit like Alejandra. Maybe you have some, you've learned some new words this week, and you would like to know what the prepositions of these words are. Um, so yes, I think that's the best way to move forward. If you guys try to write sentences, and I will let you know if you are using the prepositions correctly, and we can discover it together as well. At. Okay, Alejandra, can you give me an example? Maybe some words or a context, maybe. I mean, look, for instance, while you think of your own context, we would say, let's see, what words do I know? Well, the dependent preposition is okay. Alejandro says, at, in, always, I am confused, at and in, at the moment. Okay. Yeah, this is the saying in English is at the moment. We don't often say in the. When would we use in the moment? Okay, we would use in the moment when we're talking about the past. Like there's a U2 song. Now you're or in the present actually. Now you're stuck in the moment, for example. But usually when you want to talk about now, now is usually going to be at the moment. Okay. When you're talking about in the moment, there you're talking about a particular situation. Like um, I was with them and um, the feeling was amazing when um, gosh, no, it's really difficult to think of when we can use in the moment. Um, Hmm. I have to think. It's a difficult one because it's not a phrase we usually use in English, to be honest. It's well, because I know we can create it like you're stuck in the moment and you can't get out of it. So that's from like YouTube, for example. But we don't often use it when we're trying to talk about now, the present. Stefano says, "Hi Richard, sorry for being late. Don't worry about that. That's all right." Jorge says, I had to go out of there in the moment. Okay, I had to get out of there in the moment. Okay, here, this is how you could do it. I thought to myself. I thought to myself, oh gosh. Because no, I could also say at the time. Because that's the other thing. I could say at the time, I thought to myself. But if I were to use in the moment, I could say, I thought to myself in that very moment, what am I doing here? You could do that. I think that's one way you could do that. That could be one example. Alejandro says, in the moment that need anything or at the moment? Look, I would say go for at the moment. At the moment is going to be the one that is more likely to be right. Stefano, in the moment I saw her, I immediately fell in love with her. You could. I suppose the more I think about it, I think if you're trying to tell a story, like a narrative of what was happening, then you probably could use in the moment when talking about that moment in the past. So I think if you're telling a story, yes, you could use it. Erdogan says, I never hear that in the moment. This is it. It's not it's not normal. It's not a normal thing. It's put it this way, it's not something I would necessarily use in everyday language. At the moment or at the time is the more normal language we would go for. So I would say try and stick to using at the moment or at the time. In the moment. At night or tonight? Oh, okay. At night, usually. Georgia says, I'm not working at the moment. Correct. That would be correct, Georgia. I'm not working at the moment. Or at the moment, I'm not working. But that would be correct. And that's a good example. Alejandro, at night is usually is the normal one. Tonight, no, tonight would just be one word. That would be one word, tonight. That's slightly different. Okay. I'll tell you what, guys, I'll put some words out here and I want you guys to see if you can guess what the dependent preposition of the word is. And maybe you can try and give me an example of how the word can be used with that preposition. So let's say we go with, let's say, what would be a good one? Okay, this might turn into a bit of a phrasal verb thing as well. But here's the first word, build. What can you use? What preposition can you use with build? And in the meantime, I'll try and think of some more words that, so we don't just end up going for the always necessarily basic one. So build up. Yes, you can build up to something. So for instance, at the start of a concert, before the musician comes onto stage, there is a build up. So a build up of an atmosphere, for example, like or the story builds as well. So that's a good example. Georgia, build too. Yes, but that's going to be rather specific, believe it or not. You build something to specifications. You build something to specifications. Specifications. Meaning you build to you build to a plan, basically. So you have the architect has a plan, and you build uh, to those specifications. So yes, you can use to. You can also build on land, for example. You build on something. You can build on an idea. Okay, so that's a good start. Let's see. Can I think of some more good ones that maybe you might not have thought of? Let's see. So yeah, we already looked at depend on. Okay, yeah, right. I think I thought of a good one. Rise. Let's say you rise. I'm going to give you a context as well, just to help out. Yeah. So you rise an occasion. You rise an occasion. You can use rise up, but that's going to be a different context. So we'll look at rise up, but rise an occasion. So to give you an idea of this context, imagine you've got Cristiano Ronaldo, and it's the 90th minute of a game, and he steps up to take a penalty. The pressure is on. If he gets it, it means he rose the occasion. If he doesn't, then it means he didn't rise the occasion. Okay, rise up, rise off. No, not quite. I'll give you one more guess, and then I'll let you guys know. I'll let you guys know, and I'll explore, and we can try and create some sentences with this preposition. Okay, Alejandro says on. Not in this context. I mean, you can use up and you can use on with rise in a different context. In this context, it would be to. Okay, so you can rise to an occasion. Okay, so when this happens, it means you meet the level of expectation. Maybe you did better as well. I mean, some of you. I mean, here's another example. You're going into an exam, and you can think to yourself, will I rise to the occasion? For example, will I do a good job? If you go to again, if you go to a live music concert, you hope that the musicians rise to the occasion and give a good performance. So, in the live chat, guys, can you let me know about a live event you went to, you've been to, and the person you went to see rose to the occasion? Okay, so we're going to have to use the past over here. So just to give you an idea, you've got rise, rose, and the past participle is risen. Okay, so try and make a sentence with like rise to the occasion. And maybe you could give me an example of when you went to see someone live and they rose to the occasion. It was a good experience. It was a good live performance. I can say from my experience, I went to see Muse. Oh gosh, a long time ago now. I think in about 2009, maybe, live at Wembley Stadium in London. And they rose to the occasion. It was a fantastic concert, really, really good. I've seen Coldplay live at Wembley as well. And when I went to see Coldplay, they also rose to the occasion. If I talk about a sport, I have seen Manchester United many times at Old Trafford. And most of the time, they rose to the occasion. So they did really well, and that's what we mean. If someone rises to the occasion, they did well. They did really, really well. So let me know in the live comments here. Can you think of when you went to see something and the person you went to see rose to the occasion? Maybe it was yourself. Maybe you rose to an occasion. Maybe you did something in front of other people, or did something well in an important situation. We can also use this type of language with governments as well. Did the government rise to the occasion? So you might ask yourself, has your government during the coronavirus, has your government risen to the occasion? Maybe they have, maybe they have not. If you want to know when you can use up, okay, you rise up. There's a song. There's quite a few songs with rise up. Da, 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 da. So that's the next one I'll explain, okay, Georgia. Erdogan says Manchester City are rise up occasion. Okay, Manchester City, I would say just rise to the occasion, okay? Rise to the occasion. Okay, Erdogan. So that's the language. Manchester City rise to the occasion. So 5 words. Manchester City, 6 actually. Manchester City rise to the occasion. Okay, but that's a good start. Stefana says, when I went to see Madonna in New York, she not only rose to the occasion, okay, so don't forget the two, rose the occasion, rose to the occasion, meeting my level of expectation, but she managed to go far beyond them. Okay, wow, it sounds like it was a really good concert then, Stefan. Georgia says, I rose again, I rose to an occasion to get tickets to see my favorite soccer team in Milan. Is your favorite soccer team Inter Milan or AC Milan? Now, there's something in English called splitting infinitives. Okay, splitting infinitives. Okay, splitting infinitives is when you separate the verb from the preposition. It's very important you don't do that. There are most of the time we cannot split an infinitive. So rise to, we can't put other words in between rise and to. So rise to, for example. The only time we can probably split the infinitive is if it's a chunk of a certain type of language, such as call me back, for example, which is a phrase in itself. But most of the time, guys, don't split your infinitives. Georgia says she supports Inter. Oh, right, okay. I mean, growing up, I liked Inter Milan in the Italian league because I remember 2 players playing for them who I really liked. I really liked the Brazilian Ronaldo, and the first player that ever really sort of made me, I would say, fall in love with football was Roberto Baggio. So I remember Roberto Baggio, and I thought Roberto Baggio was the best player in the world. And then Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo, went and played for Inter, and I thought that was great as well. So yeah, Okay, guys, let's now look at rise up. Okay, so um, rise up is, let's see, of a correct context. Okay, Sandra's tried something here. 3 years ago, I went to an Adele concert and she rose to the occasion, guys. So think back to yesterday. You're talking about a specific occasion. So she rose to the occasion because you're talking about something specific. But in terms of rose to and the rest of that sentence, Sandra, really well done. Georgia says that Roberto Baggio is the best. He was the best. I mean, it's now the past, but he was the. I remember in like 94, I think it was like 92, 93, 94. He was one of the best, if not the best player in the world. I remember he won the Ballon d'Or at some point. I mean, that was an amazing time for Italian football, though, because you also had an amazing midfield, and you also had the likes of you had an incredible defense. Actually, come to think of it, yeah, it was a golden period for Italian football. Okay, so rise up. Let's think of the context of rise up. Um, a good example, because now I've just got a song in my head, and the song in itself is a very catchy song, but it's not necessarily the best example. Let's see. Okay, yeah, right. This is a good one. Let's say you want to start a movement. Okay, a movement comes together and they rise up against something. So you come together as a group and rise up against someone or something, for example. So, for example, I think a good one would be I'm going to use Star Wars in this analogy. So, I'm going to talk about the good Star Wars. So, the old Star Wars. The new Star Wars, there's entertaining, but the I I I don't think I like it them. No, I just don't like them as much as the old Star Wars. So if we think back to Luke Skywalker, okay, um, in Star Wars 4, you've got the rebels that come together. You've got Luke Skywalker. You've got Han Solo, Chewie, and they all come together as one group, and they want to fight back against the Empire. So they rise up against the Empire. So it's kind of like you rise together to fight something. So if you can think of a good movie or a story where people come together to rise up against something, um, if you like Lord of the Rings, there's a lot of examples of that. There's examples of this in Harry Potter, um, Narnia, Chronicles of Narnia, for example. That's another good one. Um, Actually, another one would be Hunger Games. So if you have watched Hunger Games, there's the whole three. Is it three films? 3 or 4 films? I can't remember. And the books. I think there's 3 books. Over a period of time, they rise up against the state. Okay, so that would be an example. Titanic. Can we use Titanic? I can't think of an example in Titanic. Titanic is sinking, really. Even the storyline is a storyline where the characters sink emotionally as well. So I'm not sure about Titanic. If you can think of an example, let me know. So that would be a good example. Rise up. You come together to fight against something. Okay. Feel free to try and have your try your own sort of thing. I think every Friday we can do more prepositions. You can never do enough prepositions, really. Um, okay, yeah, I think that's quite good. So just let me know in the chat section here if you can think of anything else. Thinking of one or two other things. Because last week with at and on, for example, and in, I spoke about different locations. But if it's about specific other specifics, we'll need to think of some examples. I'll tell you what, guys. If there are any, if there's any questions that you think of that you want to know the answer to, think of them, write, and then let me know. And I'll be more than happy to talk about them next week as well. And that's another thing, guys. If there is something specific you would like me to talk about in one of these live lessons, please let me know, and I will make sure we cover it as well. Now, can I think of one more, a different verb, something that is fairly, it's good to know. Let's see. Irina says, the women in that country have risen up against home violence. Yes, Irina. Well done. Everyone liked the video for Arena. That's a really good sentence. Yes, excellent. Bravo. Well done there. Okay, let's think of one more that could be a bit confusing. Okay, for and against, actually. So, we fight against something, okay, and that something is the enemy. We fight for something or someone, in which case we're with that person or idea. So that's you can see there that fight has two different prepositions. You fight for something or you fight against something, but the preposition will change the meaning of the entire sentence. Stefano says we should all come as one and rise up against COVID-19. Yes, well done, Stefan. That's a good sentence. We should all come. The only thing I would add there is we should all come together as one and rise up against COVID-19. That's the only thing I would change there, but that's a really good sentence. So well done. And that's a good one. Okay, guys, you're doing well. So like I said, I need to drink actually. When we use the word fight, you fight for something or you fight against something, but it's really important that we get the right preposition because the preposition will change the meaning. Alejandro says, I rise up against for the injustice. Okay, you rise up against the injustice. You don't need for in that case. So you rise up against the injustice. Yes, that's excellent, Alejandra. If you don't need the for, but in this case, because it's not like fight. Like you can fight for you can fight for something because you are fighting against, technically here you're fighting against the injustice, so you don't want for here, okay? But other than that, that's a really good sentence. When should I use for? Okay, I am for the idea, meaning I like it. I fight for you, meaning I am with you. Let's see. Other ones that, let's see. This is one. I'm listening out. I'm looking out for him. I'm looking out for him, meaning I am looking after him. Okay, so those are some examples. England fought for Brexit. Actually, that's a really good example, Georgia. Well done, Georgia. That's a really good example. Yes, England fought for breakfast. Fought for breakfast. England, yes, they do fight for breakfast. England fought for Brexit. Yes, good sentence, Georgia. So, guys, really well done. I think you all did really well today. So, everyone who took part in the live chat, I want to thank you. You guys did really well today. Prepositions are not easy, and I know that we've got a great deal of a large mix of people here. So, thank you very much for participating in the live chat section and for contributing. As for those of you who are watching at home, who have not participated in the live chat, nonetheless, thank you very much for watching. And for all of those who liked the video, thank you. I will be back next week on from Monday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, same time, all week, with more live lessons. And next week as well, I hope to be able to share more content with you that AM language has to offer. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. Have a really good weekend. Stay safe, and thank you very much for watching. See you all next week, and bye for now. Okay, so great stuff.